Hello Starseeds and Lightworkers, welcome back to another video on Starseed Academy. My name is Jenny. So today we're going to be talking about spirit guides. So spirit guides 101, which just means like all about spirit guides, all things spirit guides. Who are they really? Okay, so before we jump in, actually, I just want to give you a quick reminder that Channeler of Light starts this Wednesday. So if you've already signed up, I'm so excited to work with you. Make sure that you click the link to request access to the community, which is in the email that was sent to you. You'll be added into the community Wednesday morning, okay? And we get started Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern for our first class, and we'll be doing that every week for 6 weeks. If you haven't joined Channeler of Light yet, this is your last call. Time to get signed up, time to learn how to truly communicate with spiritual beings of light. And it's kind of the perfect video to talk about this because really, like, spirit guides are the first step to that. Forming bonds with your spirit guides, relationships with your spirit guides is so important. It's so beautiful. Like, it makes such an impact in your life. I remember the very first guide, I've talked about her a lot on this channel. My very first guide that ever came through her name was Amy. And she was so loud, so bold, so bossy, and it was so funny. But she was exactly what I needed at that point in my life, like somebody to really help me take charge of like the chaos mess that I was and really get my shit together, basically. It's really funny how that happens. You receive like the guide that you need the most at that point in your life, at that time in your life, is the one that steps forward. Okay, we're going to talk about that. But if you are ready to learn how to speak to your team, maybe they've been sending you the messages, right? Like all the signs, like 1111, 222, a feather, a coin, a dragonfly, synchronicities galore, coincidences. This word keeps popping up. They're trying so hard to communicate with you. They're trying so hard to talk to you. So learn how to do that and actually understand what they're sending you and actually be able to have this back and forth conversation with them in many ways, because you use all of the clairs to do so. Not only does it enrich your own life channeling, it enriches your relationships, your healing. It's such a healing thing to do. So activating. And it also just is like the basics too for astral travel. Like, you really need to know how to do that to properly astral travel. But if you have a business, like, honestly, not even just a spiritual business, but like any business, if you bring your intuition into that, it totally ups the game. Like, you just high level services. Everything you do, it just takes it to the next level. So being able to channel from higher dimensions, from God source, or from particular like specific beings of light, it is so impactful to your business, to your content, your offerings, in your sessions, your services, like, truly. So anyway, I've talked about that enough. If it's for you, you'll feel like really drawn to work with me on that. I really want to encourage you to sign up before we get started, which is Wednesday. Okay, let's hop into the video. I'm super excited. Spirit guides are like my favorite because not only do I work with my own every day, I work with everyone else's. Because in my services, here's a hot tip, okay? Here's a free tip for you if you're a spiritual entrepreneur. In my services, I always call in my client's team. Okay, so if you have services or sessions where you're doing healings, coaching, readings, anything really, where you're like a one-on-one, call in your client's team, either before you start the session or with them, like I do at the beginning of the session. Call in their team, because you don't want to call in your own team. You want to call in their team. Their team is the one that knows them so well, like knows them in and out, through and through, and knows what they need. And their team is how you get the details that blow your clients away, like really specific details about what they were just doing the other day, and like all the proof, all the evidential stuff. That's going to come from their team. So make sure that you're calling in your client's team of spirit guides. So yeah, anyway, I get to work with spirit guides of all kinds because I'm always doing sessions, group sessions, even like Oh my gosh, doing a group reading or a group session like a master class where I'm calling in everyone's team, I am literally surrounded by beings of light, councils of light for everyone. And everyone's teams are so big. So just imagine this huge group of beings. And that is why after I do events, especially group events, my energy is ridiculously high. Like my frequency is so high because just by communicating with them, just by calling them into your space, actually, just by them being near you, it like takes your frequency up. I just did a master class. I'm filming this on Friday. I just finished my master class and I was really tired all day. I do this master class and my energy was like to the moon. Like I was hyper afterwards. And that's what it does to like work with these kinds of higher frequency, higher dimensional beings. Okay, so let's list them. Who's on your team? Okay, so let's get into this video. Okay, so here's what I know so far. I always like to add in that so far because let me know in the comments what I left out. And I will also let you know as I learn more, as I grow, I just continue to share that evolution here on this channel. So here's what I know so far, ... And this will probably evolve with me. So when I'm calling in my own team or someone else's, I call in your, actually, do you want to just do this? Oh my God, I just had this crazy thought. Let's just do it right now. I want to call in your team for you. So if you're watching this, if you're comfortable with this, give your free will consent. Yes, you guys, come on in as she calls you. Do that right now. Let's actually do this. Oh, this is going to be so fun. Okay. I'm going to call in your team and you're going to hear who I call in. So for anyone watching this video at any period of time, if they so choose this, I now call in your angels. Surround them now. I call in your ancestors to your space. I call in your spirit guides, your animal guides. They're all surrounding you now. Your galactic guides, your councils of light, your Akashic gatekeeper, and your highest human self. Now, who else could we call in that you could think of? I could think of like just calling in now to be with you, just God source as well, right? Like Father, Mother, God, whatever term you prefer. But that's generally what I do when I call in someone's team. Angels, ancestors, spirit guides, animal guides, galactic guides, councils, Akashic gatekeeper, highest human self. Why do I say highest human self? Because you have a lot of higher selves, but the most helpful one is the human because you are human, right? So highest human self is somebody that like is living on a parallel kind of highest timeline as a version of you that is going to be the most helpful because they are also human. They know what you're going through. They know what you need. They know what it's going to take to get you to that highest timeline. So they are great to speak to on decision-making stuff like relationships, health, business, like a lot of stuff, very detailed and specific. Okay, so that's listing who they are. Let me know below, who else do you have on your team that you like to call in that maybe I didn't mention, if they didn't fall into one of those categories. Okay, so who are these people? Who are we calling in? Like, why are they assigned to you, right? So your guides are your friends and family. They are the people that are like on your soul group, your soul family, your soul team, like however you want to think of that. You know how we all have like a soul group that we incarnate with? Not all of us incarnate at the same time, but we have a soul group that's a part of our oversoul. To understand more about that in depth and see the diagram that I did, please check out the videos, Are We Our Spirit Guides, and the video Oversouls. Both of those. I'll try to link those up after this if I can remember. So these are your soul family. So all the people on your spirit team, the angels, the ancestors, everything we just list, they are your soul family, which means they are your friends and family, your mentors. They know you so well because they've been with you for a long time, which means that they have been in past lives. So here's another great tip about spirit guides. If you have a guide that is from, let's see, a Lemurian guide. If you have a Lemurian spirit guide in whatever form they show up, you can pretty much guarantee you've had a Lemurian lifetime because that's how they knew you, right? And that they'll show up in the form that your soul will recognize. Okay, remember me? I was your sister in Lemuria, and here I am guiding you still on your team, taking care of you, still looking out for you, still helping you. So that's a really kind of interesting way to also see your starseed origins. Well, who's on your team? There you go. And your past lives or parallel lives, because time isn't real. Let's not go down that rabbit hole right now. So who are they? They're your soul family. They're people from your other lifetimes. And they can also be parallel versions of you, right? Like, so I have done, I've done like many past life regressions, not even intentionally. Sometimes it just happens. So I have seen myself in quite a few lifetimes now. And those versions of me, I also can turn to for guidance, right? Like I have a version of me that's Lyran, named Suela. I don't know if I've ever done a video on that life, and she is really helpful because she's very strong. She's very balanced. She's she has a good, strong sense of self, a good backbone and good boundaries. So she's great for that kind of stuff. But then I have other guides, parallel versions of me that were like writers, teachers, and they're great for those kinds of questions. So you've got a variety of versions of you and all of these other beings for a reason. They're all good for something different. They're not all the same. They all have different personalities. They all have different backstories. They all have different skills and abilities to help you. So that's why it's really important to get to know them, because then you know who to ask for what, right? And if you don't know, you can always just say, okay, I'm talking to like all of you guys, like my entire spirit team, come forward, who can help me with this? And really listen with your whole body, really pay attention to what you see, feel, hear, know, who's coming forward. Okay, here's the next, I have a few notes here that I wrote down, that's why I keep looking down. So the next thing I wrote down is, who is louder, question mark. This is funny. So especially at the beginning of you working with your spirit guides, I just want to let you know that the loudest ones are going to be the ones that are closest to you. What does that mean? Well, we're in the third dimension right now. Earth is moving through actually like a bit of a fourth dimensional transformation. So kind of 3 and 4. But you might be vibrating higher. You probably are if you're watching this video, in like 4 and 5. Maybe even some of you into 6th dimensional frequencies. So if you're in those frequencies, then the loudest spirit guides are going to be the ones that match that or are just not too far above that. So your 5D guides, super loud. Your 6D guides, pretty loud. 7D, now it's getting a little quieter. 8, 9, as you get all the way up to the angelic realms, you might find that they're a little bit quieter. You might still sense their presence and stuff, but trying to like talk to them, it might seem less, like a little quieter, because the further away they are from you energetically or frequency speaking, the further away they are, the harder it can be to tune in until you really start working with them and form those strong connections. Does that make sense, right? The further away the dimension from you, the quieter it is, but like the Pleiadians are going to be loud, okay? Because they're like 5th, 6th dimensional. That was Amy, by the way. Loud, bold. I heard her, like it was loud and clear. So you have main guides and you have shifting guides. So your main guides are the ones that are at the forefront. Like your team's really big, right? So you might have like 3 or 4 or 5 around that are working with you every day. The rest of the guides are there, but they're kind of behind. Like the main guides step forward and then the other ones are behind, okay? If something is shifting for you in your life, like you change jobs or energetically or frequency, something shifts, or you're working on giving up, maybe you're getting sober or you're going through a health thing, you might see those main guides shift. Okay, this one steps back and somebody new steps forward. Because like I said, they all have different skills and abilities. Maybe you need a healer right now, or maybe you need a coach, or maybe you need a business guy. Like maybe you need something like that, somebody that's going to just really be able to help you in the moment that you're in. So they'll shift. And I want you to know that doesn't mean that your other guide is gone. You didn't lose them. They're just took a step back. Okay. So shifting, they're shifting all the time, and your team's very, very large. They all have different roles and different energies, different personalities. You might have a guide that is like your BFF. You might have like your sister, or one that feels like a brother or a best friend. Then you might have that parent or mentor feeling guide. Then you might have a healer guide. And maybe they don't talk a lot, but they're just always there healing you. You might have a teacher who's doing more like longer, like clairaudiently, maybe you're receiving more through them, like lessons or guidance. You might have a protector, like a guide that's just very protective of you. That's really important too. They all have different roles, and it's going to feel different to you. As you learn to tune into their different energies, it does feel different. And their personality will probably kind of match whatever their role is. You might even have romantic guides. Like, does that feel weird? Maybe. But you could potentially have like a twin flame guide, right? Like that is, it doesn't, okay. So like a romantic or a twin flame partner could be a soulmate guide, or a twin flame guide, or a guide that you've had another lifetime with. It might be somebody that is in your life physically, but also it's a parallel version of them. Or it might be some like a twin flame that did not incarnate, is not in this world right now, but they are on your team as a guide. Like your twin flames around for sure somewhere. If you believe in twin flames, or if you just believe in soulmates and true love, whatever that is for you, you have that romantic support as well. Someone that loves you dearly, knows you so well, and like cherishes you in a bit of a different way. That's on your team too. So we're working with the ones who are guiding us right now. Okay, so the ones that we need right now, the ones that are activating us right now. Also, if you're working on like, spiritual awakening and ascension and enlightenment, you're probably going to have a guide on your team that's very activating, maybe a crystalline being. I've seen like crystalline dragons working with people. They're very activating. Crystalline unicorns, crystalline beings, and they might look like, if you're clairvoyant, you might actually see that they look like they're made of crystals. If you're clairaudient like me, you might also see or hear, like the tinkling of their sounds. I remember doing a reading for someone who had a crystalline dragon. And as they got up and moved around, their scales tinkled like crystals. Like it was really super cool. So if you're really working right now on that, becoming that crystalline divine human blueprint, really working on the shadow work, like removing the dense heavy energies, bringing in the light, and transforming your body one section at a time into the crystalline frequency, you're probably going to have a crystalline guide too, right? So it's just so cool. All these different, I just love it so much. It's my favorite topic. I've noticed that a lot of people have Lyran guides right now. Like 2023 feels like the year of the lions, because a lot of people are being activated in their throat. They're being activated to stand up for themselves, to use their voices, to stand up for what's right, to start like, what's a good, like to roar like that lion. And I'm seeing a lot of Lyran energy coming through in my readings lately, like noticeably so, that it's like, is this the energy of the whole year, or is this just the first quarter? I don't know. But that's what's happening right now. So you might notice that if you have a Lyran guide, they've probably stepped forward. It doesn't mean that they're new. They were probably always there, but it might feel new to you. So they've probably stepped forward, right? I actually have a tip for that. So if you have a new guide that stepped forward for you, it's really important for you to vet them. Make sure they're good and coming from a good place. So all of my empaths and my clairsentient people out there, you can feel their personality and their intention, and if they have good intentions for you and what it is that they want to accomplish working with you. For everybody else, if you're feeling unsure and someone new just appears, always vet them. How I do this is with Archangel Michael. I will say, okay, Archangel Michael, right away too. As soon as if I go to meditate, because I'm pretty visual too. If I go to meditate, and there's a new face there, and I'm just like, oh, hold on, please. I'm not like, get out of here right away. I'm just like, wait, hold on, please. Like, don't even say anything. Just wait. Archangel Michael, come in, please. I need you to tell me, like, have a look here at this person in this guide. Give me the deets. Give me the gossip. Who are they? Are they here for my highest interest? Can I trust them? Should I let them in? What's going on, right? It's really important to do that. You should always be like spiritual hygiene and protection. Protect yourself, protect your home, protect your loved ones always. So Archangel Michael, get him in, get him to check it over, and tell him if it's not for my highest good, please escort them right on out of here. Okay. Because we live in a really, really multidimensional universe, you guys. Like, there are so many incredible beings out there that are so happy to help you, so willing to help you. And then there are some incredible beings out there that are very just neutral, and that's fine. They could be great for getting information from or whatever. But they're not out for your highest good. They're neutral, right? And then there's some beings out there that are like, they're draining. They might just want to drain your energy. They might just want to, cause a bit of chaos in your life. So you need to understand that it's not all love and light, that it is multidimensional, that there's all the dimensions in the journey of the soul, which is another great video. If you haven't watched that, check that one out. It's called Journey of the Soul, I think, through the universe. I talk about how the soul's journey is a circle. It's not all love and light. It's all the frequencies and dimensions all the way down to the bottom and back up. We do it all because we gain so much from that journey, from that cyclical journey. That being said, there are beings in all of that too. So just really protect yourself. Yes, so if a new being shows up, stepping forward for you right now, it's probably a good thing. It's probably somebody that has something new to offer because you are about to make a shift. That's also a sign. Like, if a guide shows up, you can just know something new is on its way. I've also seen people with the guide, like historical guides. So for instance, like Joan of Arc has shown up for different people. It's pretty rare actually, but I've seen her maybe 3 times in all the readings I've done. It always stands out to me. And I know that that person is a spiritual warrior because Joan of Arc is coming forward. And what was she if not a spiritual warrior? Somebody that refused to sit down and be quiet. Somebody that always spoke for what was true. And she, even though she was the truest witch, right? Even though, like, what a witch wound, even though was she burned at the stake? I think so. I think that's how she was killed for her beliefs, even though she never would say that it wasn't true. She wouldn't say no. She knew she was talking to God and angels, and she was not going to go back on that and dishonor herself or her experience by saying, okay, you're right, it wasn't true, because everybody back then was so afraid of that. If Joan of Arc shows up for you, you're a spiritual warrior and you're here to use your throat chakra, again, kind of a Lyran vibe, to really stand up for what's right, to really speak, preach, take people to church on spirituality. But also, if Joan of Arc shows up for you, you probably have a witch wound, because I mean, that's pretty much guaranteed, because that is like the mirrored energy of what she had. So there are other historical guides that can show up for you. Let me know in the comments. Maybe you already know somebody that's shown up for you. I'm trying to think of another example besides Joan of Arc that wants to come through. Like, what else? Oh my God, here's a cool one. Okay, I just thought of it. I had Princess Diana show up for somebody before. That was so precious and beautiful. And Princess Diana, her energy is like endlessly like forgiving, love and light, compassion, but very active in her humanitarianism, if that's a word. So somebody that is wanting to help you take divine action. Yes, she's the divine feminine, but she had the masculine energy of the divine masculine energy of making something happen with that, but taking the action. So if Princess Diana, if you've always felt connected to her, attached to her, if she's showing up for you, if she's giving you messages, you are like a humanitarian, somebody who's aligned with divine feminine, but also ready to take that divine action, aligned action to make a difference, a volunteer, start a charity, like something like that is the energy that wanting to come through for you. And there's like I mean, there's lots of different healers that, or sorry, guides that show up that are healers, like Mother Mary. Um, a lot of Andromedan guides are healers. A lot of Pleiadian guides are the humanitarians. The healers, though, are Andromedan. What else for healers? A lot of angelic healers too. Angels are very like interesting though, because there is the protectors like Archangel Michael, there's the soft divine feminine healers like Archangel Haniel, and then there's like Archangel Raphael's a healer too, but he's more of like chatty. Like I feel like he's like a counselor, like you could talk to him about what's going on in your life and he has great advice. And there, I just feel like there's all kinds of different angels. And I've seen earth angels, the people here that are earth angels, the ones that like have either no lives between the angelic realms and earth, they just go from the angelic realms, bam, straight to earth. They suffer a lot for doing that, by the way. Because they want to be of service so badly, they just kind of rushed here, but they didn't get the gradual downgrade of frequency. And if you've seen my video Journey of the Soul, you know what I mean by that. You can't go from like the 12th to 14th dimension to the third dimension and not expect it to be completely devastating. It's so much so that you're probably going to really even just struggle to get on your mission of what that was. It makes a lot more sense to gradually descend to earth through the dimensions like 10th, 11th as the Ascended Masters or the Arcturians, 10th dimension of the Mantis beings, the 9th dimension of like the crystalline beings, the 8th dimension of, I really can't think of what's an 8th dimensional being at the moment, the 7th dimensional like Lyran beings, unicorn beings, Venusian beings, all the way down to 3D. It's gradual, and that creates really powerful light workers and star seeds. And that is also why you have all these past life memories of doing all that, because you came down slowly. So you've got all these lifetimes that you remember being Pleiadian or being Andromedan or being Arcturian or being, I don't know, whatever other guide. Okay. And then another interesting guide that you might have is like a shadow guide. Why would you have a shadow guide? If you're doing a lot of shadow work, if you need a soul retrieval, if shadow guides are showing up for you, probably a big sign that there's a part of you that needs to be retrieved. So soul retrieval is like when you're retrieving pieces of your soul from dimensions and realms that are lower than where you are. You kind of left it behind. But these pieces of us get splintered off, shattered off due to extreme, intense trauma. And many of us have actually been lower than Earth. Again, cue the video Journey of a Soul, please watch that. Many of us have been lower than Earth. And bad things happen down there. And it's no wonder that we have parts of ourselves going dormant or getting splintered off or shattering, but it can be retrieved, it can be healed, and it can be reintegrated if you're having shadow beings showing up for you. And it's not a psychic attack, it's more like connected to you in some way, like a guide or something. You're like, what? I think you need a soul retrieval. So think about that. And that is actually a service I offer. I don't talk about that a lot because it's pretty intense for me. So I don't blast it on my marketing, but I feel like the people that need it will find it. You know what I mean? So if you need that, it's on my website. Okay, and then if there's a new guide stepping forward, make sure you vet them. Make sure you read their energy with your clairsentience. Here's the next thought. You might be a guide. You might be a guide for someone. Like, you are doing so much more than you realize when you fall asleep. Okay, so when your human goes to beddy bye, your soul is off doing stuff like astral missions, a lot of astral missions to, like for me, I've done astral missions into lower realms where I'm taking light into the darker places. I've done astral missions around the earth in sacred sites or inner earth. I've done astral missions outside of earth, like in Orion, different places like that. Astral missions are big. They're all different. It's wherever you're needed and whatever your personal skills are. But what was I going to say other than that? Oh, the point was that you might be someone's guide. So as your human goes to bed, your soul goes off and you're acting as a spirit guide to someone else, maybe here on this earth. Would that not be the weirdest thing to find out that you were a spirit guide for someone on the other side of the earth? but more likely it's for someone in like a parallel timeline of Earth, I think. I never really even actually thought about that I could be a spirit guide right now for someone on this earth. And yet I get messages all the time, like often, from people that say, you were in my dreams last night and you were teaching, or you were showing me this thing, or you were telling me how to do something, like always teaching it, like I'm such a teacher. I'm always teaching or showing a skill or something in these dreams. So kind of actually makes sense that, yeah, anyway, I just had a deeper understanding of that. But yeah, like you could potentially be a spirit guide. You don't just have spirit guides, you are a spirit guide. Isn't that friggin' cool? What's the last point I have here? Okay. The last point is that your guides, all of them, it's a large group of different kinds of people, beings, and councils. They may or may not be in an incarnation. They may or may not. So, Brian has a guide named Andazel, I'm sure he won't mind me using this as an example, who is not in a physical incarnation. That means she's not in a lifetime anywhere. She's not on a planet or in a realm. She's in the in-between. What is that? So this would be from my video, What Happens When You Die? So the in-between is kind of what it sounds like, in between lives. And some people call it heaven. It's this space, this place where souls go to heal. After a lifetime, you need like a lot of healing. You need like, you need healing. You need to have your past, no, not past life. You need to have your, what's it called? Life review, right? Where you watch your life, you do a review, you go over it with your team, and you figure out what worked, what maybe you could do better next time. There's no judgment. You probably might judge yourself a little bit, but there's no judgment from anyone. I know that in that place, they really just view like the experience of life, and doing the best that you can is it. That's all you can do, is the best you can do. So anyway, you get the healing pods, you do the life review. There's a lot of people in this in-between place working there. Like they're not in an incarnation. They are just working in the in-between to help souls. They help souls create new soul contracts. You know, before you go back into a lifetime, hold on, let's create this very careful contract about what you want to achieve and help set things in place. So they're receiving new souls and they're sending souls off. It's the in-between. Is this angels? No, it is not. The angelic realm is a place, a dimension, 12th to 14th, that is an incarnation. What does an incarnation mean? It means that a soul, the pure soul, is in an in-between. It's not playing a role. It's just the pure you, okay? So the pure soul is in the in-between. When it wants to have a lifetime, say an angelic lifetime, it creates a soul contract, gets like reborn as an angel. The angelic and incarnation means that it has a beginning and an end period. Incarnation, beginning and an end. For an angel, that might be extremely long, going on and on and on, but it's still an incarnation. It's still a lifetime. You've been an angel, pretty much guaranteed. Almost everyone's had angelic lifetimes, incarnations. Okay. Again, incarnation means lifetime. It means there's a beginning and an end, and you're not the pure soul. You're still playing a role. Okay. So most people go from God source, Father, Mother, God, source, whatever you want to call it, parallel move into an angelic lifetime because it's a gentle move. Again, they don't go right to earth. You go here and then you can slowly descend down. Lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. In between all those lives, you go to the in-between place, or heaven, whatever you want to call it, to heal, figure out, what did I just do? Oh my God, calm down, and figure out, am I going to do this again? Okay, where am I going this time? And it's up to you. It's free will. You do get to choose where you want to go. That's why some earth angels choose to bypass all of this, but I do not recommend that. I have only seen them suffer. Like they've shattered a lot of like mental health stuff and physical, like there's a lot of health issues. Okay, so what was I even talking about? So what I was talking about is that your guides can be in an incarnation lifetime or not. So you can have a guide that's just working in the in-between place. They're not in a lifetime. Or you can have a guide that is in a lifetime. Like, okay, I have an Andromedan guide named Lily, who's like a healer. She's in an Andromedan lifetime, right? But she's still acting as a guide, even though she's busy with her own life. Our guides are doing a lot. Okay, they're multitasking. They have their own life. They have their own soul contracts. They have their own missions. They're learning too. They're also going through shadow work and healing and ascension and awakening. And they're doing so much, plus being a guide for you. And you might, like we said, you might be doing that as well. So, oh, there's just so much to this video. I hope that it all came through clearly for you. There's probably more to talk about, but that's all I had written down. Why don't you drop into the comments, what do you have for questions about spirit guides? Is there anything that I didn't cover that you're wondering about? Isn't it also just the coolest topic ever? I just love it so much. So I'm going to leave the video there. Quick reminder, join Channeler of Light by Wednesday, because we're going live at 6 p.m. Eastern. If you've already signed up, I'm so excited to get started. It's going to be so transformational. My courses always are, but this one just feels like really intense already. Like I'm super excited to just blow your minds basically and really get you not only activated, but developing your soul gifts, understanding them, using them, so that when you leave that course, you've got like a plan of what to do next. So I'm super excited. Okay, and then also don't forget that my membership group is open. We are receiving new members now. We do new events, like 3 live events every month. You'll get invited if you're inside that group to incredible events. And group readings, healings, activations, astral journeys. We truly do so much. We've been everywhere. We've been to Andromeda, we've been to Venus, we've been to Lyra, we've been to Orion, we've been to Inner Earth. We've just been so many places, I can't even remember them all. We've received healings from the Blu-ray beings, the angels, Mother Mary. We went to the Arcturian healing caves. Oh my God, that was such a powerful, I forgot about that one. Oh, just so much. And then group readings, some of the themes of group readings are your galactic history. So letting you know, okay, you've had all these different kinds of lives. It's so much information. We're doing the next reading that's coming up is the shift. So from your guides, what messages are they going to give you? What do you need to shift to that highest timeline, right? So the soul plan that you had, that hopeful plan, if that line is like this and you're down here, what do we need to do to align you to that, shift you to that? So that's a group reading coming up called The Shift. All the group readings have themes, so that's really fun and cool. And the events are so powerful. The activations, we've done light language activations. We've also done workshops, like teachable moments, spiritual entrepreneur, start your own business workshop, channeling workshop, psychic gifts workshop, light language workshop. There's a lot going on in there. So I really recommend you to check that out. The link is in the description. It's so affordable. I keep it really low because this is my place where maybe the people that aren't ready for a course or even a one-on-one, this is very accessible. It's only $44 a month and it's so jam-packed with stuff. So, okay. I'm gonna leave it there. I love you all. Thank you so much for continuing to show up. I look forward to your comments on this video. Come follow me over on Instagram for new content. And before you go, please remember, listen to your heart and the quiet voice within, because you are so much more than the body you are in. Thank you, beautiful star seeds and light workers. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.